Welcome, Eden.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
It is my pleasure to have you here. Please tell everybody about who you are and what you do.
Right. So my name is Eden Levine. I am living in Germany, but I'm originally in Israel, was born in Israel, and I am the singer at Shoo, the swing metal band that we're gonna talk about soon. But aside of being a singer, I have a relocation agency to Germany. So I help people relocate to Germany from all over the world. You see why you would be surprised?
Yeah,
So
just to fill in the audience, just before we started filming, I was saying how everyone that I interview from Germany is on time and they communicate and they're ready and prepared. And I love working with Germans and I want to get a job and move to Germany.
I can help you with that.
All right. And
Yeah.
Germany is just like the best place for metal from what I can see. There
Yeah,
are,
I mean for the variety for sure, but I mean the capital of metal is kind of like Scandinavia, like Norway and Finland, like so many metal bands are coming from there. There's so many Germans who would listen to metal, and that's such a great thing to have.
I think that the Scandinavians have the opposite perspective, which is a lot like actually the art market. If you're in New York, exhibiting in New York, you think like getting a show in Paris or Berlin is like the thing to do. But if you're in Berlin or Paris, you want to be in New York. So the Scandinavians, they all like Sarah, who sings in Smolder. She and was a drummer before that as well. She moved to Finland, and I said, "Oh," and she had specifically said, "You should move to where your scene is." And I was like, "Well, it's Finland. That's got to be good." And she's like, "No, actually, we're popular in Germany."
Uh-huh. Okay. I mean, it feels like all the really awesome metal bands are born at least in Scandinavia. So it seems like something that they're doing right. But yeah, I mean, also in Germany, there's a huge scene here. There is also like an electronic scene here. So that is more what the Germans are known for, as far as I know. But coming from Israel, when there is such a little, small, tiny scene of metal, then it's a great, great change here.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be. I can't imagine being a girl in the Levant and being like, okay, I want to start singing in a metal band.
Right. That was very difficult.
The only like female fronted metal I know from the Eastern Mediterranean is Özlem Tekin, the Turkish artist.
Wow, I actually have zero knowledge about female-fronted
I,
women
I'm kind of a nerd for
singers,
it.
and wow, I never even thought about this, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's get back to you. Sorry, so many tangents. I'm very
No
excited to.
worries.
Okay, so you have a relocation agency.
Yeah, and also I organize a female entrepreneurs community in Leipzig where we are living now. So many projects.
I love you. I love it. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that is so cool. I have to ask you so many more questions. Okay, well,
I'm
what
here
is
for you.
your business that supports female entrepreneurs called and like what's your specialty and all of that?
I mean, this is a community. It's called FemEC, or Female Entrepreneurs and Creative. This is kind of like the shortcut. And we are doing events in person and online for female entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, basically those who want to start living from their passion, their profession, as self-employed and not as employed. And we're just having a lot of workshops, networking events, community mentoring events, and so on. I am into empowering women in metal, but also women in entrepreneurship, especially here in Germany, where it's kind of like still, I think in general, it's being considered as very risky to be entrepreneur. So yeah, more if you are a female, obviously. So I think this is kind of where there's a whole potential to bring many more women into this world and to get them empowered because they are still thinking about how they need to be all stable and that employment is the way to go. So Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a cultural difference between the US and mostly everywhere else. Because I own a business here and I love my business. It's called Tutor of the Arts, and I write educational programming for different institutions and then teach the courses sometimes too. Um, and I was kind of like doing like field research in Gothenburg to see like how viable my business would be to take it over there. And it was like shocking to people. Then I would walk in and I'd be like, "Hi, my name is Joe, and this is the kind of business that I run in the United States, and I'm looking to branch out." And they'd be like, "You are such an American for like being like, hello,
Hi, this is me. I'm here.
this is
And
me."
actually, it's a very Israeli thing as well. So just in general, Israelis are trying to copy everything Americans are doing for the good and bad.
Uh-oh.
But
We don't
yeah,
do everything that great.
yeah, well, let's be honest.
Um,
But this is the difference that was the huge and amazing shift that it was here in Germany. Like everything is much slower and everything is like more, let's think about it for a year or so if we really
oh,
want to do this, you know? So it's like
yeah.
it's not what I'm used to as like, okay, we thought about something, let's do it tomorrow or yesterday, kind of like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
speed of
Yeah,
thoughts. So
Americans, we just hurl ourselves into things and find out along the way what we suck at, and then we
yeah.
try to fix it when we get there.
That's the good part about I think this kind of mentality. I would aim more for that, but yeah, in Germany, it's not. You wouldn't want to go to Germany if you're looking for speed. That's
Okay.
not the
Yeah,
place.
I'm getting older, so I don't need any more. I'm ready
You'll
for
be surprised.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
at the age where I'm back and forth. We're on such a tangent right now, but your business is really interesting to me. So I got very distracted. But let's get back to you and your music.
Yeah.
When did you first realize that you loved rock and metal music and also I guess like scatting and jazz and that you wanted to create more of it?
That is quite a funny story. First of all, in regards to metal and rock, that came about. So, my background in general, like when I was really young, I would always listen to my parents' music because it was at a time when there was no Spotify, and whatever CD you have at home is what you listen to. And I would listen to every CD we had at home repeatedly. So I'm the kind of person that if I don't have music, something is wrong. I need some music in my life all the time. And my dad would be listening to, you know, all these but goodies, I call them all the time. So it's everything that VH1 is putting on now, or the I remember clearly that I was learning English with You're as Cold as Ice song. He was teaching me this English while we were listening to this kind of music. So that is already the background. But when I was around 15 years old and I was like in junior high, we had a student transferred to our class, and she was into metal, like heavy metal, like Slipknot and heavier, which I did not know. I don't know what it was, but she got me into her huge discography files and the in her computer, showed me around, and I was like, okay, that's too much. That's too much. That's a little too much. But then it was like, hey, Fallout Boy, interesting. And then All American Rejects, interesting. And then it was kind of like into this rock punk kind of situation that I started going into, and then it got a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier. But funny story is that I never considered myself as a metal fan until I met my husband. My husband I met when I was 23. That was 2004, 15, 2015. And when I got to know him, it was through a Facebook group of atheists. And so I told him like, okay, before we even go to a first date, I need to make sure three things. First, that you're not smoking. That was okay. Second is that you want to move outside of Israel with me, or just in general, you don't want to stay in Israel. And the third, you listen to good music. That was really like the three categories I needed
Oh my
like to
gosh,
be
I
checked.
those
And
questions. All right. Keep going.
no, I am thorough. I
My
thought.
And I gotta interrupt, just say
Please.
my question when somebody would want to ask me out would be, if I were in a hospital, how long would it take you to get there?
Wow, that's a good
Yeah,
question.
I'm not playing. Nothing to be prepared for.
Yeah, but for me, it would have been like stupid to say like, okay, I want to move out, but he doesn't
Right,
after like 2
absolutely.
years that we're together. Then it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
these are great questions.
And yeah, and in the music part, as I mentioned, music is my life, and I always listen to music. And if he constantly would be like, "Shut down this stupid music," then I would be completely upset about this. So yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't want that. This is the kind of thing. Everything else can be sorted out. These three things cannot. So he actually had a metal band when I met him. So I was like, okay, that's good. Metal we can do. Metal is good. But then I showed him my playlist and he was like, you're listening to metal. I was like, really? Just never figured it out. And the swing part actually came during COVID, I think it was. We had a friend who just put this playlist just randomly because we started working on something, and it was like a swing, electro swing music.
Hmm.
And I found myself, like dancing. My body was just like randomly dancing. I did not realize, and I was just like, "What is this amazing music? Why don't I listen to it all the time?" And I started listening to swing more often, me and my husband together. And actually, with the swing metal, he came to this idea. He came to me at one point. Mind you, he still had the metal band, and he told me, "Hey, I want to work on a new project." And then he named three different projects that he thought about, and then he said swing metal. I was like, I don't know what swing metal is, but it sounds cool. And how about we do that? And we just decided, okay, this is going to be just our fun time together as a couple, our couples activity. We started writing our first song, and we just really loved it. And we said, no, this cannot stay in our computer. We have to put it out there. And we started working on swing metal together. So it started as only me and him, but now we are a whole band, six members.
Yeah, that's so great. It's
In a nutshell, that wasn't a
yeah, well, very
that's short
concise. Always another dependable feature of people that
for
live in
real.
Germany. It's concise. They get it done. Which is great when you're interviewing. So that's really cool. What was the first song?
So it's called Old School Medicine, and
Uh-huh.
it's talking about how society used to treat or still is treating mental illnesses. So it's just
Mhm.
like take a pill and just go about your day. This is
Yeah.
how a lot of people are being treated for mental health. So
Your
that is the
lyrical themes are very unique and they're like critical of society, but also positive. And I mean, everything about what you're creating is very unique. Who else does swing metal? Does anybody else do that?
Well, there is very famous avant-garde metal, they're called. So they're called it's Diablo Swing Orchestra. I don't know if you heard of
Okay.
them.
No, I haven't.
And they are combining brass instruments into their songs. And I think they are the closest that there is to what we do.
Okay.
But other than that, there isn't really swing metal. I have never seen anybody calling a whole band swing metal, maybe like a song or two.
Hmm.
But we are, I think, the first one to really focus on swing.
Hmm.
Although the song that is gonna come next, it's gonna be funk metal.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay. I'm
Yes.
very excited for that. I have a wide range of taste in music and I love to see genre blends. Um, wow, I'm super excited for that. How did you find your brass section? How did you find your horn player? What was that like?
Oh, that was interesting. Um, I think actually, to be honest, for metal, the hardest thing to find is a drummer, but we did somehow find one, and we just posted on there are some Telegram groups and Facebook groups of musicians in Leipzig, and we just posted, hey, we're doing swing metal and we're looking for brass. We were just like, we didn't even know what exactly we want because brass can be such a variety of instruments. And I mean, I guess tuba would not be something we would go for. It's a bit too much. But like we're using a lot of trumpet, we're using a lot of saxophone, and saxophone is one of my favorite instruments of all time. So we always wanted a saxophone, but actually with the trombonist that we have, which is also female, and was very
Oh, cool.
happy coincidence. She is she's a manager of an orchestra here in Leipzig, and
Wow.
she came to our female entrepreneurs community events, and that's how I met her. And I got her connected with my husband because they needed a video editing, and he's a video editor as well.
Oh,
And somehow with all these like connections, weird connections, is where she joined in as well. Yeah.
that's an amazing story and like totally, yeah, networking, part of being an entrepreneur. And
And musicians are entrepreneurs, whether they want
oh,
to say it
totally.
or not, they are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People will invest in a band before any other business. Uh,
Absolutely.
that's so interesting. And what a amazing group of people you're bringing together. Um, okay. So, uh, if your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the movie be about?
All right. So I was thinking about that question. And do you know this very recent TV series called Has Been Hotel?
No, tell me.
So this is about it's animation, and it just was just recently added to Amazon Prime, I think. And they basically it is about the life in hell
Oh.
for characters, different characters that they have different problems. But there is actually that the main character is a woman who is trying to help characters from hell to go into heaven
Hmm.
by trying to help them with being better and stuff, something like that. And this series also like a musical, so they have a lot of songs, and it's kind of somewhere around how I would imagine that. So it's a, let's say it's more of an imaginary world, and it is a combination of evil and good, and like funny and just a bit dark. And this is how I imagine our songs kind of, in an environment and especially animated. That was really, really cool because you can really play with colors and with how the characters look like, and they don't have to look like people and so on. So that is what I've imagined.
That sounds so perfect. Okay, it's kind of giving Jim Henson's Muppets in a totally different way. Or if you've ever seen the movie Rock and Rule that Blondie, Debbie Harry, she did the voice in it. She had a lot of creative influence in it. There's also this one, The Devil and Daniel Mouse, that you might like from the 70s. The
With
like
the I'm familiar. Yeah.
the storylines in them are like not well, the storyline in The Devil and Daniel Mouse is kind of like the 70s trope where there's like the girl with a dream of being a singer and then she like falls into the trap of the music industry, which
Oh,
is like, yeah, it's very tired. It's very tired. And but I also, yeah, I love that you would go with something animated. And I do think that your music is like kind of macabre and also humorous.
yeah.
So sounds very, very perfect.
It's also a bit cynical, and we have an inside joke kind of because my husband is the lyricist as well. He's the producer, the lyricist, the musician, like at heart, really. Also, this is our home studio, as you can
Very
see,
nice.
and this is his station,
Hmm.
basically.
Look at that
And
man chair. That's a
you
man.
see, with the guitars, just
So
like,
aesthetic. So nice.
and there's so much more equipment you don't see. Um, so what was I about to say? So he is basically the one who comes up with all the lyrics, and we are trying to make the lyrics really smart, cynical, kind of things that people need to really read in order to make sure that they understand what we actually aimed in this. So for example, we have a song called Swinging It, and if you only focus on the chorus, you would think it's a women empowerment song, but it's actually not. It's actually portraying a con artist that is trying to kind of take all the money from men, and she knows exactly how to go for it because she knows what they need and what they want, what they're looking for, more like the looks and all the. And but then the chorus starts with because I don't need no man. And so a
Hmm.
lot of people think, okay, this is what is it about? It's really like take me to church kind of situation. So That's what we're doing with many of our songs. It has a hidden story behind this, or something that we want to share and kind of give criticism about. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the lyrics in your songs. I think that there's like good storytelling, and I still think that like the poetry of music matters. Like there's like a lot of
Absolutely.
like messages in metal that like people don't care about lyrics, but I certainly do. If your lyrics are stupid, I think your music is stupid. I think you're stupid.
This is the problem with my husband as well. Like, I can be really happy with the song, and he'll be like, "Did you listen to the lyrics?" I'm like, "Should I?"
Probably not. Um,
Probably. Yeah.
okay, so jumping ahead a little, if you could create a lineup for a festival, who would you put on your lineup?
So for sure, I would put Diablo Swing Orchestra, that I just mentioned, because they do fit our genre, and I think they're crazy on stage as well. So they are. I really, I would want to put people or bands that I want to see myself. So for sure, I would put them, and I would put Hailstorm, which she is my idol. She's really like what I am wishing to be as, or where I'm aiming to. I really love how what she does and how she does it. And so for sure I would love at some point to play with her. And I really love also Devin Townsend and how he is really experimenting with so many things. So I don't know if you know him. Devin Townsend is also doing a lot of combination of electronics and story. He has a whole two albums that are connected, so it's like the both sides kind of thing,
Hmm.
and they are a whole story of an
Hmm.
album. So really, they are connected, and this is something my husband also is really wishing to do at some point, to really take a story and build a whole album behind this. And so it's much more theatrical, it's much more interesting, and it's building up. And this is something that I think it's admirable how he did it. So they would be the three for sure that I would add in the lineup. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's tremendous when people like regard their performances as musical theater, because you are on a stage in a costume, whether you're trying not to be in a costume or you're trying to be in a costume, you're in a costume. Like
Yeah.
if you're like trying to look cool and you're in a t-shirt and black pants or whatever, that's a costume, because like you're still trying to like fit into an expectation. So I like when people are like, "Oh, I am in a costume. So what kind of costume am I really trying to be in?" So,
Right. It
yeah, and
also
like,
helps, right? It helps to be in a costume, because then you become somebody else, and then you can put something different to your act. So many
hmm,
people can be themselves, or just be just an ordinary singer, or ordinary, I don't know, guitar player. But then when you have a costume, and this is something that we are really aiming for, to kind of put the theatrical part as well into our stage. Hopefully, at some point, it will be more than what we have now. But when we really want to portray the story also in the physical world, and this is something that for me is really adding to the experience, because it's a whole experience, right?
I love that. Yes. You're creating a fantasy that people can live in. Oh my
Absolutely.
God, I've never heard anybody like put it into words so well.
Thank
That
you.
was I'll be repeating that. Okay. Looking back, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice?
So I would say that meeting my husband and going for it would be a really good choice, but also coming to Germany would be a really huge choice, and a very good one. I think this is something that have opened my eyes to so many things that I haven't you know thought about before, especially when you are so comfortable, in your place. And when you feel comfortable, you fall into this place of comfortable, and then you don't break out of this comfortness, and you don't know what is expecting to you. And the fact that I am here in Germany is has opened my eyes to international groups, to other cultures, to other languages, to even other perspectives, right? Because you are who you're surrounded by. And the fact that I had to leave all of that and change my surrounding, I could also choose who is my surrounding. And I changed that during my years
Mm.
here. since now I have this entrepreneurial mindset, I even put myself into this community and into all of those
Mm.
events and all of those things, and also with the community of metal, and which I did not do before. So that was really helpful. And this is something like I'm telling everybody who think about relocating, even if you are doing it for a couple of years and going back, you will not come back the same person.
Yes.
So this is really something that I recommend everyone.
Wow. Again, so well said. Very often the answer to that question is getting married and moving. And especially because many women discover the band that they're currently in after they move.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
just like the boldness of going for something big and has like a ripple effect into other big choices. Um,
absolutely. You feel like you're capable, right? It's a boost of confidence when it's successful, obviously, but it was in this case.
um, so what is your favorite gear and your favorite stage wear?
Okay, so I brought it with me just to make sure that it's clear.
Mhm.
So this is actually an elastic belt, a black belt, because and it's also like the closing of it is super easy. And the reason I brought this one because I tend to wear dresses on stage, and we have in-ear system, and so I need something to put my in-ear receiver at
Oh.
on, and on a dress, it's really not easy, especially if you need to adjust your volume at any point. Then, if it was like up here on the back, it's really not something you can play with.
Oh.
So this is something I've added to my gear, and I
Yeah, that's a
am
great
going to
pro
use it.
tip. That's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. This is
Okay. What is a performance memory that you will never forget?
that is actually not the favorable one, but I mean, we only had two concerts until now, so our first concert, everybody would tell you like your first concert is the worst one, right? This is like your go-to. It would be from that upwards. That's exactly what happened. Nothing fell, nothing spilled, nothing, went completely rogue. I was just sick on that
Oh.
day. I was sick on the first concert, and and it's, mind you, metal singing is not easy. Yeah, I'm not growling, but it's still something that you're holding high energy,
Mhm.
40 minutes, 45 minutes. This is how our set list is. And I'm a morning person, and it was at 11. No, sorry, 11:40 even, I think it was already, because we
Ooh.
had a like schedule shift and delay in it. And I was sick, I was tired, I was nervous, I was, everything else in between. And but I had so much fun. I really was like, I ended the show and I was like, you know what? For what I could give, that was amazing. That was so
Oh.
much fun. So I am happy also to learn that I'm this kind of positive person, that even if something went bad, I can see still how it could have been worse, obviously, but
Mhm.
it wasn't, it was, a lot of people had fun. Some people were like, if you wouldn't tell us that you were sick, we wouldn't know. And I was like, is this
Mhm.
how you think I sound like?
Oh no.
But I took it in a good way, kind of like, hey, they had fun, they loved it. Some of them even came back. So you're like, good.
That's
That's
a
what you need.
that's a great sign that when they come back. Um,
Absolutely.
so then last story question is what's your favorite self-care after a long day?
Um, so I think my favorite would be bubble bath. I love bubble bath, and I also have a speaker in the bathroom that I can use regardless of what I'm doing. And so I'm putting myself either a TV series, or I'm putting in some music and read something and just lay there. This is what I need, like a bath.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cute. Well, do you have any new announcements for us?
Well, actually, last week we had a new song released called "I Gotta Sing," and that is really about how what the musicians are doing and why are they doing this. It's really like the urge to be on stage, to be number one, and this urgency to do something before you're completely gone. So this is, and it has some influence from the song Sing 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 by Benny Goodman, which is a very old swing song
Hmm.
that most people know and recognize, but they don't know this is the name. So
Oh,
look it up. And yeah, we have a concert in Dresden in the end of June. And we have also some other concerts in Germany throughout the year. So you can really look it up on Instagram or our website.
oh yeah, and send me the information and I'll put it in the description of this episode so people can find everything. Send me all the links,
Absolutely.
please. Um,
Absolutely.
don't make me
Absolutely.
hunt for them.
No,
So too
just
many
now I will
people.
do that.
Yes, make him do it. So where can we listen to your music and how can we follow what you do?
So wherever you're listening to music at, we're there. Bandcamp as well, if you feel like you want to, support us as well. And in regards to following, Instagram will be a good place to go, but also we are on Facebook and TikTok, although we are not really that active there. But website is also a good place for us
Oh,
to
band
put everything
websites.
in.
Band websites are so much fun. There's like no standard at all. So it's like,
And your podcast is going to be on them because we have also like a section of all the podcasts we were at.
oh,
So,
good. Oh, good. I'll have to look at who else, what other podcasts there are.
oh, we've
Okay.
given many.
Well, this one's the best one though, right?
For sure.
Um, okay, so we're gonna play the vinyl game. If you've seen any episodes before, you know how to play, but I'm gonna hold up two pieces of vinyl and you can just say which one you like, or if you want to say something in particular about one, or if you don't know either one and you want me to tell you about it, you can do that too. So Gladys Knight or Dusty Springfield?
I don't know either, honestly.
Oh, okay. For this, you're gonna want to listen to Midnight Train to Georgia. And then Dusty Springfield, you might know her and just not know her name. The song Son of a Preacher Man. The only one that could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Maybe that's very,
Maybe.
it
This
might be
is
too
my
American.
problem. I am really bad with names. So I can listen to the tune and know immediately how to join, but I wouldn't know the name of the song and I wouldn't know the name of the artist.
Okay, I think I'm gonna skip that set then. Okay, I'm gonna go for
Sorry.
stuff. I'm gonna go for stuff that I think is a little bit more uh known. Okay, Coven or Grace Slick?
I am also not sure I know them.
Okay, um, you will definitely enjoy Coven for the kind of music you make because it's influenced by 60s singers and it's
Wow.
also the roots of heavy metal. Like Black Sabbath got everything from Coven. Like
Wow.
even Coven's bassist's name was Oz Osborne. And Ozzy Osbourne, that's not his
Uh,
name. He picked up the name from them.
wow.
Their band used to be called the Polka Tulk Blues Band before they called themselves Black Sabbath, which is the first song on this album. And this was the first band to do satanic rock. Um,
Wow.
but it was so contentious in LA right after the Manson murders that the album was pulled out of rotation. So
That's a
my
shame.
my big
Wow.
sister, you see, that's my big sister.
I will take a look at that for sure.
And then Grace Slick sang for Jefferson Airplane, but you'd probably know her songs um somebody to love, don't you want somebody to love, don't you need somebody to love, and you'd also know her song um it's Alice in Wonderland themed and I actually can't remember the title at this moment, but okay, how about Janis Joplin or Bonnie Tyler?
I think I know Bonnie.
Probably do Total Eclipse of the Heart. There you go.
Of
And
course I
then Janis
know.
Joplin, you're gonna love Janis Joplin. You're gonna have
What
a
this it rings a bell, but I'm not sure.
you're gonna have like a teenage girl moment, or maybe I just have like a really strong like memory and association with like finding Janis Joplin when I was like 16 and just thinking she was everything. Um,
Could be.
so that might just be me. How about Stevie Nicks or Betty Davis?
I think Steven Nicks is what it rings a bell as well for me. But
So yeah, she was in Fleetwood Mac, and this uh quick little game that we're playing right here is like evidence of how badly we need women to be exposed in the media as musicians.
absolutely.
Uh,
And especially in the metal scene,
yeah.
because I don't know that many, and that's unfortunate.
And yeah, and a lot of those were like rock anyway. But all right, these two are big people and they're contemporary, but both of them have all girl bands. Lizzo or Demi Lovato.
So I'm not familiar with, I know Lizzo, I've heard the name. I haven't heard what she's doing, but I think with Demi Lovato, I had also some songs that I heard before.
I think you would like Lizzo's music. It's like pop, rhythm, and blues, but it has a lot of different influences, and the lyrics are very smart.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Demi Lovato actually has an amazing band. Her band is made of like all of these metal girls from the scene that are our age, and they're like people that like were in our friends' bands. And she like really went into the metal community to find her musicians. So
Amazing.
yeah, cool
She
band.
knew what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, because she actually likes rock and metal. She just is like has like a pop career and is like trying to bridge them. Um
Yeah, no, that's great because I think it's I think one of the the rule of thumb in metal is the simpler it is, the more catchy it is, and people would get to like a lot of people would be more able to listen to that than if it's too complicated.
hmm,
So this is where pop is kind of pulling towards, and some people are kind of like against it when metal bands are going too poppy, but
hmm,
sometimes this is the way to go because it's more catchy and it's like people would get a tendency to listen to that more. Um, yeah, not to say all metal should go into pop, but it's kind of like this is how there is this dance sometimes
yeah,
between pop and
yeah. And it's just another genre blend. And I think if people are entirely opposed to innovation, that they don't need to listen to any new music ever again.
yeah, I just saw this meme this morning about like you're in a crossroad and then one road is just listening to the same old bands that you're always listening to, and one is to go to new genres and new bands, and you always pick the one that you listen to already. And I understand that because our brain is looking for familiarity all the time, but we just need to listen to a song like 3 or 4 times and this familiarity, process is happening anyway, especially
Mhm.
if we like the song. It's the
You know
but
what?
I am also a sinner of that a little bit because I tend to like singing with the songs that I'm putting on. This
Mhm.
is my problem with being a singer. I always have to listen to listen and sing along, and if I don't know the song, then it's hard to sing along. But yeah,
Yeah.
it. I also have some changes in my playlist.
That's very interesting. It makes me think like, people have a lot of fear of like senility, and maybe it's good for your brain to teach it a new song. Like find a new.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
Especially if you are really putting the focus on the song and not, just playing it in the background. And then you really put the focus of what the lyrics are, what are they mean, how do you pronounce it well, and so on and so forth. So it's really interesting.
I really love to listen to like if I find a band that I think is interesting, I go for a really long skate, like 13 or 14 miles, and then I just listen to their album. And like skating, it's like I'm skating by the river, so it's just like there's not really anything going on. I'm not distracted, but I'm sure that there's something about how I'm enjoying being physical with like hearing completely new songs that is gonna just that's why I'm a vampire and I still look this good. It's because I keep doing that. So everybody that wants to look good should listen to new music.
And skate or along the river. I completely know what you mean because
Yeah.
it's the kind of background that at some point it's becoming what white noise would be for your eyes, kind of. And something that you can look at for a long time, not be bothered and not be bored by. For me, the ocean is the same, like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
and just to be able to open up to a new thing,
Mm-hmm.
because you have something familiar in front of your eyes, and then your ears and brain can be like, okay, I can accept something new now.
Yeah, it's like you're just distracted enough by something familiar to be able to like not be distracted by what's new, if
Yeah,
that makes
it's not
sense.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, interesting. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for inviting me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I will be in touch. I'm very interested in the things that you do.
Absolutely.
Bye. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.